Reef DVM's coming at you where I left off with the horses. We saddled up the drafts and showed you how we tack them up and stuff, but sometimes we just do riding lessons on them, and it kind of serves a three-purpose thing here on the farm. Purpose number one is teach the kids how to ride better and good horsemanship skills. Purpose number two is it's really good for the team. I mean, as a pulling team, as a cart driving, just to get the horses out and do something different with them. Draft horses are like any other horse. They like predictabilityness, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you need them to not be spooky and other things. So changing it up never hurts. And the third thing it does is it allows the kids to have a little fun on the horses playing games, but it also puts the horses in a different state of mind. And sometimes that helps too. I like to think of them, as kind of, happy, sad, moody kind of animals. They have their moments. And sometimes just changing it up like this just breaks up the mentality of the horse a little bit. So one of the first things we like to do with draft horses on our place, especially with the two younger girls, is we like to get the horses just to pair up and get used to being together. Now, these are two rock solid, pulling horses, and they know how to do this. But it's good for the kids to learn how to do it too. So we just take, a nice 6-foot rope, and the two girls got to hang on to it and take the horses around and keep them together. Now, obviously on a corner, the outside horse has to go a little faster. The inside horse has to hold back a bit. And the goal is to get all the way around and make figure eights within the arena without losing either end of that rope and keeping the horses together. This is a good skill to learn for the kids. It's also good for the horses because they got to understand that they got to stay together. They got to work as a team. And that helps, especially in the driving world, which is what we're in. Sometimes it goes a little easier with games too. So here what we're going to do is we're going to bring in one of our poultry layer cages, put a couple pails on top and a couple flags. Now, a lot of times we use bells. Sometimes, we've used caps. Sometimes I use balloons. I use anything that looks scary to the horses. Sometimes I even use noisemakers and whistles and have the kids use them instead of these flags. The flags work good though too because they're red, they're sticking out off to the side, and the girls are going to lean over for them. So then we just kind of race them up here. Again, we don't go crazy. These are draft horses. These aren't thoroughbreds. Now with the younger child here, Julia, she sometimes has, a little different learning curve. When they're younger, it's a little bit more difficult to get 1,500 pounds to go around the bucket there the correct direction so that she can grab the flag. So we do cut them some slack depending upon the age of the rider. But she did get the flag, and the horse doesn't mind it, and this is what we want. So we're trying to teach the horse at this point to not be scared of things. We're trying to teach the rider to be able to lean over. Whoops, cutting off the rider there. I guess we're going to have to teach her some street rules there is about how to not cut somebody off. But either way, we're just trying to teach the rider control and balance and get the horses used to different scenarios. We don't always make them run this game the same way. Sometimes it's a real short distance. Sometimes we make them go in a figure eight. Sometimes we make them start in the corners. We never want to play the games the exact same way. We don't want the horses to learn the game. If we keep changing it up, it keeps variety in their life and keeps things good for us. This was the older two here in this video piece. These two obviously have it down. They've played this game so much it isn't funny. But again, it's good for the horses. It's good for them. And when you're trying to do lessons, we do a lot of dressage work. We do pole work. We do some groundwork. But sometimes the games are fun. And I just thought I'd show you some of it here today. Now, after this, when we end, we always typically end our lessons the same way. My wife is pretty consistent on this. Stuff gets taken out of the arena. The horses are allowed to kind of calm down at the end of the arena, and they're made to hold. And that hold can be anywhere from 5 minutes to a couple minutes. For the sake of the video, she's not going to make them hold long. When she steps out in the arena, the horses need to present themselves to her, and then she'll give them a little bit of groundwork. And it's almost always the same groundwork. She asks them to back the horses. We feel that backing up the draft horses is excellent. There's no sense teaching more advanced riding if your horses won't back. It teaches them to trust the rider on their back, that they're not going to bump into something. It teaches the rider the skill of backing up, and just kind of puts that trust between the rider and the horse back in place. Once this is done, she typically brings them up front. They come up and greet her. We typically get 2 people, 1 to grab each horse. And then she does some type of saddle activity. The saddle activity here is just around the world that she's going to do. We do this just so that the girls get used to moving on the saddles in different ways, and that the horses feel the different weights of the girls and the different shifts in position. You never want to have to turn around to get your saddle straightened out, or maybe you got to go grab a cell phone or something for an emergency, or a branch or something bugs horse. You never want that to happen without the horse knowing it, but obviously those things can happen, and sometimes the riders have to adjust. They have to turn around, they have to move, and we want these horses to be able to feel that and know that. So a simple game as going around the world can be kind of fun too. Bring them up front here, have the horses say goodbye to you as well as the riders, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is how we do some of our draft horse riding lessons. Thanks for watching, folks.